Fruit was the original fast food, and we've spent 10,000 years making it complicated. Think about what fruit actually is for a second. Not what it tastes like, not where you buy it, what it actually is. A fruit is a plant's way of bribing you. The tree puts everything it has into building something sweet, colorful, and irresistible so that an animal, you, a bird, a bat, will eat it, wander off, and deposit the seed somewhere new. Every piece of fruit you've ever eaten was engineered by millions of years of evolution specifically to make you want it. The color that tells you it's ripe, the sugar that floods your mouth when you bite in, the smell that reaches you before you even see it. None of that is accidental. You were manipulated into eating fruit before you were born, and honestly, it's the most pleasant manipulation in the natural world. The banana is probably the most eaten fruit on the planet, and it is also one of the strangest. Wild bananas, the ones that existed before humans got involved, were small, starchy, full of hard black seeds, and not particularly pleasant to eat. What you buy at the grocery store today is a Cavendish banana, a cultivar that has been selectively bred over centuries to be seedless, sweet, and uniform. The entire global banana supply is essentially a clone. Every Cavendish banana is genetically identical to every other one, which makes them extraordinarily vulnerable. A single fungal disease could theoretically wipe out the entire crop. That disease, called tropical race 4, is already spreading. This has happened before. The banana most people ate before the Cavendish was called the Gros Michel, which by most accounts tasted richer and more complex. It was effectively wiped out by a different fungal strain in the 1950s. The banana-flavored candy you've eaten your whole life, the artificial stuff that tastes nothing like a real banana, was actually modeled after the Gros Michel, not the Cavendish. The candy is a ghost of a fruit most people alive today have never tasted. The mango is the fruit I'd fight someone over, and I mean that with full sincerity. It is the most consumed fruit in the world by volume, eaten by more people daily than any other, and it has been cultivated in South Asia for over 4,000 years. Sanskrit texts from 4000 BC mention mango groves. The Mughal Emperor Akbar planted an orchard of 100,000 mango trees in what is now Bihar, India. Buddhist monks carried mango plants across Southeast Asia as they traveled. Alexander the Great tasted mango in the Indus Valley and reportedly couldn't stop thinking about it. This is a fruit with a curriculum vitae longer than most civilizations. And the flavor, when a mango is actually ripe, not the hard, flavorless brick that gets shipped to supermarkets in cold climates, is almost unreasonably good. Floral, sweet, slightly resinous, with an acidity that keeps it from being cloying. A ripe Alfonso mango from Maharashtra, eaten warm in the afternoon with juice running down your arm, is one of the genuinely perfect eating experiences available on this earth. If you've never had one, I'm not sure we've been eating the same fruit. The strawberry carries more nostalgia per gram than almost anything else in the produce section. The smell of a ripe strawberry triggers something emotional in people, summer, childhood, something uncomplicated and good. That smell comes from a compound called pharyngeal, which the strawberry produces in abundance when it's fully ripe, and which the fragrance industry has been unsuccessfully trying to synthesize perfectly for decades. The gap between a real ripe strawberry and a strawberry-flavored product is one of the more depressing distances in food. What most people buy from supermarkets, large, perfectly shaped, perfectly red, shipped from hundreds of miles away, often smells like almost nothing and tastes like slightly sweet water. The varieties bred for shipping are selected for firmness and shelf life, not flavor. The strawberries that taste the way strawberries are supposed to taste are the small, irregular, almost ugly ones from a farmer's market or a roadside stand, still warm from the field, eaten within hours of being picked. That version and the supermarket version share a name and almost nothing else. The pineapple spent about 2 centuries as the most status-obsessed fruit in the Western world, which is a sentence that sounds insane until you understand the context. When European explorers brought pineapples back from South America in the 1490s, the fruit was essentially impossible to grow in Europe's climate. The only way to produce one was in a heated greenhouse, a pineapple stove, which was extraordinarily expensive to build and maintain. In 17th and 18th century Britain, a single pineapple could cost the equivalent of several $1,000s today. The wealthy would rent pineapples, not eat them, rent them, to display as centerpieces at dinner parties as a demonstration of their wealth and social standing. Architectural pineapples began appearing on the tops of gateposts and building finials across Europe as a symbol of welcome and affluence. The reason pineapple motifs are still carved into the tops of bedposts and engraved on silverware is because of this centuries-old association with luxury and hospitality, and now you can buy one for $1.50 at a gas station. The fall from grace has been total, and I think it's wonderful. The watermelon is summer in a rind, and its story starts in the Kalahari Desert of Africa, where wild watermelons still grow today. Small, bitter, and mostly water, which was exactly the point. In an environment where water was scarce, a plant that stored liquid in its flesh was invaluable to both animals and humans who learned to harvest it. Ancient Egyptians cultivated watermelon over 4,000 years ago and placed them in the tombs of pharaohs, presumably because the afterlife also gets hot in August. The fruit traveled north through the Mediterranean, arrived in China by the 10th century, and reached the Americas with the slave trade, a painful history that is inseparable from watermelon's complicated cultural legacy in the United States. Today's watermelons have been bred almost beyond recognition from their wild ancestor. The flesh is dramatically sweeter, the rind is thinner, and newer cultivars have been bred to be seedless, which is technically impressive and genuinely sad. The seeds were never the problem. The seeds were part of eating a watermelon. Removing them to make the experience slightly more convenient is the kind of optimization that solves a problem nobody had. The grape is the fruit that built civilization, not metaphorically, but practically and directly. The cultivation of grapes for wine is one of the earliest forms of agriculture humans developed, dating back at least 8,000 years in the South Caucasus region of what is now Georgia and Armenia. Wine gave people a safe, calorie-rich liquid to drink when water sources were unreliable. It traveled with traders and armies and monks across the ancient world. The Roman Empire ran on it. Medieval monasteries preserved viticultural knowledge through centuries of instability. The grape didn't just feed people, it gave them something to gather around, to trade, to celebrate with, and to argue about endlessly. The fact that a single fruit became the foundation of an entire global industry, an entire vocabulary of flavor, and an entire culture of connoisseurship is remarkable. And the scientific complexity of what happens when grape juice ferments, the conversion of sugars to alcohol, the development of hundreds of distinct aromatic compounds, the way the specific soil and climate of a piece of land expresses itself in a glass of wine is as close to alchemy as food science gets. The durian is the fruit that forces you to have an opinion before you've even tasted it, which is a rare and impressive quality. It is banned from the subway systems and hotels of multiple Southeast Asian countries. It has been described, famously and not inaccurately, as smelling like a combination of gym socks, raw onion, turpentine, and overripe custard. The smell is so penetrating and so persistent that durians cannot be transported on most commercial airlines as carry-on luggage. And yet, here is the thing that everyone who has gotten past the smell will tell you. The taste is extraordinary. Creamy, rich, deeply sweet, faintly alcoholic, with a custardy texture and a complex flavor that has notes of vanilla, almond, and banana all at once. Anthony Bourdain, who ate everything and was afraid of nothing, said that after eating durian, everything else in the world tasted like an inferior imitation. I think dismissing durian because of the smell is the most understandable mistake people make with food, but I also understand it completely. The smell is not subtle. The smell is an event. The apple holds a strange position in the story of fruit because it means something different in almost every culture that has encountered it. In Norse mythology, golden apples granted immortality. In Christianity, it became synonymous with the fall of man, though the Bible never actually specifies the fruit was an apple. That detail was added by artists and translators later. In Newton's famous story, it was the moment physics revealed itself. In the American frontier mythology, Johnny Appleseed wandered the wilderness planting orchards, though the apples he planted were primarily used for hard cider, not for eating, which is a detail that tends to get left out of the children's books. There are over 7,000 known varieties of apple in the world. You can probably name 5 or 6 that you've seen in a supermarket. The rest exist mostly in heritage orchards, seed banks, and the collections of dedicated growers who understand that a black Oxford apple from Maine or a foxwhelp from Herefordshire has flavors that a Granny Smith never will. The supermarket apple is a marvel of consistency. It is not a marvel of flavor. The lemon is the most useful fruit in any kitchen, and I will defend that position. It doesn't exist to be eaten on its own. Nobody is sitting down with a lemon the way they'd eat a peach, but its role as a supporting ingredient is unmatched by anything else in the produce section. The acid in lemon juice does things nothing else can replicate. It brightens flavors that have gone flat. It cuts through fat in a way that makes rich dishes feel lighter. It prevents cut fruit and vegetables from oxidizing. And it interacts with proteins in ways that can effectively cook raw fish without any heat. The zest, the outermost layer of the rind, contains essential oils with a flavor intensity that makes the juice taste mild by comparison. When a dish tastes like it's missing something and you can't identify what, the answer is almost always acid. And the answer to acid is almost always lemon. Professional kitchens know this. Home cooks spend years figuring it out and then wonder why they didn't know sooner. The fig is ancient in a way that most fruits aren't. Archaeological evidence suggests figs were cultivated in the Jordan Valley over 11,000 years ago, which may make them the first fruit ever deliberately grown by humans, predating even wheat and barley. They appear throughout the Bible, the Quran, and the writings of ancient Greece and Rome. Buddha is said to have achieved enlightenment while sitting beneath a fig tree. A fresh fig, and this is important because a dried fig is a completely different thing, is fragile, perishable, and completely uninterested in your convenience. It lasts about 3 days after it's fully ripe. It can't be shipped efficiently. You have to go to it, or grow it yourself, or know someone who has a tree. That inconvenience is inseparable from the experience. Biting into a fully ripe, fresh fig, the thin skin giving way to dense, jammy, honey-sweet flesh studded with tiny seeds that give it a faint crunch. Every fruit in this video started as something wild, something that a human being encountered and decided was worth pursuing, worth carrying across oceans, worth cultivating for generations, worth preserving in the tombs of kings or the texts of monks or the memories of grandmothers who grew them in their yards. The apple and the mango and the fig and the banana all exist in the form they exist in today because of 10,000 years of human desire. We wanted them sweeter, so we made them sweeter. We wanted them seedless, so we made them seedless. We wanted them available in February in countries where nothing grows, so we figured out refrigerated shipping and global logistics. And somewhere in all of that optimization, some of what made them worth pursuing in the first place got left behind in the field. The smell that doesn't survive shipping, the variety that bruises too easily, the flavor that only comes from a fruit eaten warm where it grew the same day it was picked. That version of fruit is still out there, in season, in the right place for a few weeks a year. Find it when you can. It's worth more than it costs. Stay hungry.